Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about different types of blushes. So hopefully you've all witnessed the different types of blushes that are now coming out. We've got our standard powder blushes, we've got cream blushes, we've got liquid cream, and we've got full-on liquid blushes. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about each of the four different types. And just kind of show you what each of those four look like on a fully done face of makeup. Clearly I already did the rest of my makeup except for blush already. I used, just so you know, the Rare Beauty Concealer, Lawless foundation, the Woke Up Like This foundation. I went with the Lawless, the little one palette on my eyes. I used my Kat Von D tattoo liner. Used some Joa drugstore eyebrow pencil products. I used my Marc Jacobs mascara, At Lashed mascara, and then Dose of Colors on the lips. So just wanted to give you guys just a little bit of background there, and I'll go ahead and link everything in the caption below so you know which brands for which products I already used, and then of course I'll link the blushes that I'm about to talk about as well. So I brought four different blushes with me today. So the first one that I'm going to use on my face, not quite yet, but when I get there, is going to be the Lawless Make Me Blush Velvet Blush Foundation for my powder version. The color I'm going to use is Vintage Love, which I've kind of used up quite a lot of. So that's that one. For my cream, I'm going to use the Ilia Multi-Stick. So it's a literal stick in the color All of Me, which is more of like a orangey coral tone. And then I have the Rare Beauty liquid blush, very liquid blush, in the shade Grateful, which as you can see is a pretty vibrant red, orangey red. And then the last one that I have, which is a more of a creamy liquid, is the Ilia Multi-Use Pigment in Before Today, which is a very muted pink, very mauve, dusty rose kind of color. So those are the four that I'm going to be using today. For those of you that aren't aware, both Ilia and Lawless are clean makeup beauty brands, so they have all clean ingredients. Rare Beauty is not necessarily clean, but they do have a lot of clean products, ingredients, and they're pretty darn close in my book. So just wanted to share that as well. So, like I said, before I get into actually showing you what these look like, I wanted to talk a little bit about each of the different kinds. So, obviously the most commonly used is a powder blush. Those honestly work on every type of foundation, every type of makeup, every type of skin. It really just blends right in, whether you're putting it onto no makeup at all, onto, you know, a tinted moisturizer or a fully matte foundation, whatever it is. Powder blush absolutely works. The only issue really with powder blush would be, with some of them, not all of them, pigmentation. And then of course, if you have drier skin, getting dried out. Now I will say with the Lawless blush, neither of those are actual issues. They have amazing pigmentation and there are tons of ingredients in it, including squalane, which help with keeping your skin hydrated. So you don't have either of those effects with the Lawless powder blush. So if you're looking for one that is powder that isn't going to have any of those issues, Lawless. But just that's powder blush for the most part in general. For cream blushes, so things like the Ilia Multi-Stick, they are better with pigmentation, but depending on the formula, they do tend to absorb into your makeup when you have fuller faces of makeup. And the other issue that I've noticed is that sometimes if you've really mattified your makeup and you try to put the stick over, it does have a tendency to pick up some of that makeup underneath. So that's kind of my perspective on sticks. They're great though on tinted moisturizers or no makeup at all, or just really light coverage foundations. And then for the two kind of liquid versions. So liquid in general is great, really, in my opinion, on everything as well. So it goes great on natural skin, on, you know, lightly tinted moisturizers, fully done makeup. And also pigmentation is, for the most part, always amazing, lasting. The only issue, again, slight opposite of the powder now, that I notice is for those of you, or people like me. With oily skin, the liquid does not necessarily stay as well because it doesn't, depending on the formulas, depending on the brand, absorb in. Sometimes it sits on top of the skin and comes off pretty easily. I've noticed though with both of these, they do kind of dry on a little bit more matte, so they do stay on and last. So again, if you're looking for a blush that is liquid, you don't want to worry about it kind of lifting, coming off your face when you have a full face of makeup. Rare Beauty has a great one, and so does Ilia. So I kind of picked my favorites for all these types of blushes to use for you all today. So now, after my quick run through of, you know, pros and cons of all of them, again, I'm just gonna put them on and show you. I'm gonna break up just the apples and the kind of cheekbone parts of my cheeks for each of the four, just so you kind of see how they go on. I'm gonna put both of the liquids on one side, and then I'm gonna do the powder and the stick on the other side, so you'll see what that looks like. And if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to comment them below and I will answer them as they come up. So without further ado, I'm gonna start with both of my Ilias. So I'm gonna do both the Ilias on the inside. I'm gonna do the multi-stick, so the full cream right here, and then I'm gonna do the liquid on this side. So first I'm gonna start with the cream. There we are. As you can see, that's the color we have. Okay. By the way, I'm gonna go a little blush forward just because of the light. So if you see me putting a lot on, that's the reason why. By the way, you're gonna notice, as I already started, when it comes to the cream and the liquids, I do like to use my fingers to blend them in. So as you can see there, here we have the multi-stick, blends in super easily. This one with Ilia has zero pickup on my face for the full face of makeup. And obviously it's pretty pigmented and it's blending right in. So on the other side, I'm gonna go in with the Ilia multi-use pigment. Just a fun fact, actually, with both of these Ilia products, they both are multi-use, so they can be used on your cheek, on your lips, and even on your eyes if you wanted to. So fun fact there. With this one, I do like to put it right on my finger and then blend it out. I might have got a little bit too much here, but it's okay. Yep, I got a little too much. But again, using the finger to blend it out. Okay. And you can see, like I mentioned, again, really pigmented, blends right in easily, especially when I use my hands. And you'll see in a little bit, but this one does start to mattify over time, so you'll start to notice, actually, all of these should. I personally, when it comes to liquid, like ones that do end up with a mattified finish. So you'll start to notice that all of these are gonna mattify pretty quickly. And then, as I mentioned, I'm gonna go in with the powder up here, and I'm gonna do the Rare Beauty liquid up here. But so far you can see pigment is amazing. Again, blending in really well. That is one thing that I do love a lot actually about the liquid, is that they're a lot easier to blend in to the rest of your makeup. Okay, and then like I mentioned, I'm using my Lawless Make Me Blush Velvet Blush for my powder, and the color I have today is Vintage Love. So I'm just gonna go ahead and press that in. Since I'm only doing half of one cheek, I'm just trying to make sure I don't grab too much because I'm used to obviously filling both cheeks. Okay, so as you can see there, again, Lawless, super pigmented, blends really well. Obviously, powder usually does. And you can see it automatically goes on matte. So I automatically have that matte finish there with the powder, which is a convenience when you have oily skin. And as I mentioned, this specific product from Lawless does have ingredients that are meant to keep your skin hydrated throughout the day. So if you do have drier skin and you typically shy away from powder blushes, don't worry about this one. Okay, and then last I'm doing the Rare Beauty in Grateful up here. Again, with these, I do like to dab it on my finger first. I just wanted to show you though first the brush, They do have a nice little applicator here. So if you wanted to, you could go right in, but these do tend to pick up a lot more product than I need. Because with liquid, a little does go a long way. So again, I like to put up my finger first and then kind of blend it out. As I mentioned, this color is a super duper bright red. So I don't really need too much. And of course, just like a lot of these others I put on so far, I grabbed way too much. Because as I mentioned, I'm used to getting enough product for the whole cheek, not just half of it. Now I will mention though, with the Rare Beauty, the one thing that I've noticed with this one compared to my others is that if I do put too much, it does start to pick up. So you'll see here, I'm starting to pick up my foundation and the blush a little bit, and I don't want to do that. So sometimes what I'll do when it's still wet is I'll take my powder brush and just kind of press into it to dry it out a little bit before I continue blending. And there we are. Now I will say that of all of these blushes, my favorites are actually the Ilia Multi-Stick, actually the two on the side. So the Ilia Multi-Stick and then the Lawless Powder Blush. When it comes to color and pigmentation, the Rare Beauty ones are extremely pigmented, so I do like them for that purpose, but I don't find them as compatible with a full face of makeup. They're better for tinted moisturizers and for no makeup at all, and just adding a little bit of color to your skin, just because again, it does start to pick up a little bit more than the others, and I don't really like that. So like here, I have no real freckles peeking through, but where the Rare went on, I have my freckles peeking through because it picked up my foundation. So if you guys can see that there. But as I mentioned, they're all great for all different reasons. So if you're not the type of person to wear a ton of full face of makeup with full coverage, absolutely go with Rare Beauty. Great pigmentation, lasts throughout the day. It does end up mattifying, and it's just beautiful all over. If you have drier skin and you want something liquefied, use either the Ilia Multi-Stick or the pigment. They both are great for making sure not to over dry your skin, but still again keeping pigment and keeping your full coverage makeup, not messing with anything else. And then of course Lawless is just my go-to for powder. So just wanted to show you guys those 4 different types of blushes and brands to give you an idea of how that looks. Another thing that I did want to mention though is sometimes I like to mix them. So if I really want something extremely pigmented that's gonna last and I wanna create my own color, sometimes I'll mix one of my liquid or cream and then top it off with my powder. So for example, I'm just gonna go in now with my Lawless powder over my Rare Beauty over here. So sometimes I'll do something like that, kind of blend them in. I'm just gonna do it in the end here so I still have a little bit of the normal color in between. To again, give more color, more dimension, and get a little bit more pigmentation. So as you can see there, this is the combination of Lawless and the liquid. Here's just the Rare Beauty liquid, and then back to my Ilia. So there we are. As I mentioned, if you have any questions about different types of blushes, other brands that you've used in the past, if you have questions about brands I've used for a certain type of formula, let me know. I've tried many a blush in plenty of different shades and tones. As you can see here, I'm kind of all over the board. But like I said, if you have questions, comment them below. I will answer as they come up. And if there's anything else you guys want to see in a video moving forward, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye.